Scrappers Kim from StampingImperfection.com. Welcome to my craft room. I wanted to share a project that I made. I've been meaning to make this video for about a week or so, but I created this little book that I'm going to use for, I'm going to write inspiring quotes and put some pictures on these little cards that are in these envelopes. And these envelopes came from Stampin' Up's Sweetheart Treat Bags kit, and in this kit you get 12 of these cute little red heart treat bags. You get 12 pieces of pre-cut pool party baker's twine, and you get 12 of these little pop-out tags that you can use, and they show you in this picture right here, you know, how one idea for decorating it. And I love these little kits so much that I decided I wanted to do a few different crafts. And one of the things I did was to create this little book. So I wanted to show you how I created that. And I decorated it with some other fun Valentine's Day projects that are products that Stampin' Up is carrying. So when you get the kit, you get this stuff, and it also comes in the package. It has this piece of heavy cardboard. You're going to use this piece of heavy cardboard because that's what I created the cover for this out of. So the first step to create this will be to take this out of your kit, and with a heavy-duty cutter, you cannot cut this on your regular Stampin' trimmer that you cut your paper with. You're going to need some kind of like good cutter, like one of these guillotine cutters, and you want to take this and cut it in half. Now they all seem to be 9 7/8 inches long, so you want to cut this. I cut two pieces that are 4 3/8, so I took a tiny sliver off the edge, and then I made sure I had two pieces that were 4 3/8. So I ended up with two pieces that are this size. Okay, so I have two pieces of these, and then I covered it with Designer Series paper. So I used two different colors of Designer Series paper. I used a piece of Real Red from the Brights Designer Series paper stack, and then I used a piece of Pool Party from the Subtles Designer Series paper pack. The paper packs are like packages of paper, and you get 40 two-sided sheets of all the color families. Stampin' Up has several different color families. So the Real Red comes in the brights, and you can see these are really bright, happy colors. So I used a couple of the Real Reds. So you get quite a variety of papers here, and you get just an absolute ton of projects out of one package of papers. It's amazing how much you can do with one package of paper. So what I did, I cut these two pieces in half. I took a piece of the Real Red Designer Series paper. This is cut at 5 7/8 by 4 3/8 because that's the size of the cardboard. And then I did the same thing with the Pool Party. It's 4 3/8 by 5 7/8. Okay, you could use any colors that you wanted on this. Now, for this, so I took this piece of Real Red. This is Real Red stitched taffeta ribbon. I love this ribbon. I've gone through so much of this ribbon with Valentine's Day. I cut it at 24 inches. I folded it in half, and I want to attach this to each of the pieces of cardboard. And I usually do this before I put the papers on. So I'm just folding it in half, and I'm going to just put a line of glue. You could use a two-sided sticky tape. I'm just going to put a line of glue down one side like this, right down the center. I'm not trying to make this perfect, and I'm going to leave a little bit on the end and leave about 5 or 6 inches hanging off this end like this. Then I'm going to take my piece of Real Red cardstock, and with glue or, again, two-sided sticky tape, I'm going to put this piece of paper on one side. I try to get as close to the edges without getting globs of glue on the edges. So I'm going to put this down, center it on that piece of paper. and that'll hold my ribbon in place. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, except that I'm going to put a piece of pool party paper on this side. Okay, and then I let the glue dry a tiny bit, and I kind of like this almost little vintagey, like old look. So what I did was I took my sanding block. And just very lightly, I kind of like whenever I put designer series paper onto a piece of cardboard like that, I like to just lightly sand the edges because it kind of makes the paper look like it's really part of the cardboard, and if the paper overhangs the cardboard or if the cardboard's a little rough from the cutting, then it takes care of that. So I just do that all around all four edges. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Now I'm going to show you how to create this middle, but I've already created this middle, so I'm just going to like put this here just to measure where, about where I want to glue this one. Now I should have done this before I put the paper on, but I didn't. So I'll just glue this down the center, so that's pretty good. So I'm just going to run a little bit of glue down the center of the inside of this, just like that, since I forgot that I needed to put the ribbon on first. And I'm going to leave about an inch or so, like that, just like that. Now in this one you can see I put the ribbon down before I ran it through, or before I put the paper on, so that the ribbon is completely covered. On this one that I'm making right now, it won't be because I forgot to do that. So you can do it any way you want. So now I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to show you how I did the center. So for the center, I used my Stampin trimmer. And I love this trimmer because it not only cuts, it scores. So I cut a piece of real red, 8 inches long by 4 1/4 inches wide. Then I took this on my trimmer and I lined it up. This is 8 inches, so I lined it up at 7 1/2, and I slid it all the way to the top, and then I scored it. Then I slid the paper over so this edge lined up with 7, and I scored it again. And I slid it another 1/2 inch to 6 1/2, scored it again. So I scored it every 1/2 inch. I went to 6, scored it. So score it every 1/2 inch until you get the whole paper scored. You could do that on your Simply Scored, but I love the convenience of this little trimmer the little trimmer that I have with the scoring thing, and it's nice and small. It fits perfectly on my desk. Now you can see I'm accordion folding this just like this. So I'm going to accordion fold this whole page. You get it all done, you have something that looks like this. Now you're going to take your envelopes, and I used 8 envelopes. This comes out so that I can have 8 envelopes. And I'm going to glue the envelope so that the first one goes in like this. I'm just going to glue it along here. So the first one will go in like this. The second one I'm going to slide over this way, and so forth. So you're going to glue them in, and you'll end up with something like this. So let me just show you how I glued one in. I'm using the back, and I can tell it's the back because this is folded over. I just ran a little glue, and again, 2-sided sticky strip would work well. I wouldn't use snail for this. I don't find snail works, like, it doesn't have the holding power. Okay, and then I'm going to just glue this along the back like this, just like that. Okay, so it's like on all of the envelopes are on the back side like that. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue these tabs to the inside of my covers. And again, you could glue these little tabs down first, especially on the front. Like I could have glued this down first and then put the designer series paper on top if I wanted it to be a little bit neater and tidier, but I wasn't really that fussy. Now I'm choosing this one to be the back one so that this envelope and flap will lay directly next to the back one. That's why I wasn't so concerned that I forgot to do this. Like I could actually glue that right down if I wanted to. Glue the envelope right to the back so it doesn't even lift off. And I'm going to line this up because this little accordion thing is going to be like my binding on my little book. Okay, so I'm going to put glue down here on the top part. And then I'm going to line this up like this, just like this. And I'm just going to hold that in place until the glue dries. Okay, a couple other little touches that I added to the inside of this. So this is what we have so far. We have this little book created. And from this point, you can really decorate this and do anything that you want to do. I cut 8 pieces of white cardstock at 3 1/4 by 5 1/4 because that's actually what fit pretty perfectly inside one of these envelopes. And then I took these little banners that came with it. These are little pool party stripe banners. Just added a little of my favorite adhesive. For me, that's the glue. And I just covered half of the back like this. And I flip that over and I put that in the center of the white cardstock, just like that. And let that dry, and then those went inside each one of my envelopes, just like that. And here's another little touch I added. Since it comes with pre-cut pieces of pool party baker's twine, like this, I mean these are pretty good lengths. I took a piece of baker's twine on each one of these envelopes and just wrapped it around and then tied it in a bow. Again, you could add more embellishments if you want. Then I just slid these in here, and I'll put some inspirational quotes that I know my daughter will like, or some fun pictures. Maybe I'll print a couple things off her Facebook page. My husband gave me a photo printer for Christmas, so maybe I'll print a couple pictures off that and add it. So I actually have quite a few things I can do. You know, maybe I could even put a gift card on one and tuck that on the inside. Okay, so there you go. That's how I decorated the inside. And this ties nicely. It'll tie nicely. When you're done, you can really decorate the outside any way that you want. I will include the decorations for the outside on my blog at stampingimperfection.com. You can purchase the Sweetheart Treat bags at online at mystampingstore.com, along with all these other products. And what I've done here is this heart here, this really pretty heart, is another Valentine's Day product. It's the Flowerful Heart Set, stamped in real red on Whisper White. Then I cut out a piece of the Designer Series paper and some Pool Party using Stampin' Up's Full Heart Punch. So I used their Full Heart Punch. The Flowerful Heart image is cut out with the hearts framelets. I added a little paper lace doily, a couple buttons and some rhinestones, some ribbons. I added some more Pool Party baker's twine on the front, and then I layered a couple pieces of, I used Blushing Bride and again, Pool Party, and these two I ran through the hexagon embossing folder with my Big Shot. So there's my completed little mini album, and again, I'll have all the measurements for the decoration on the front on my blog at stampingimperfection.com. Thanks for watching.